welcome back to Grandad Stories. Today's story is called Gerald the Gentleman Cat and the Missing Moon. Gerald was a cat who wore a green velvet jacket with white spots and spectacles above his long, wiry whiskers. Gerald was officially a wild cat, but he wasn't really wild. He didn't hold wild parties every night, and he didn't wildly dance or dash about like some of the really wild cats that he knew. Gerald was a gentleman cat. He was even on friendly terms with the local mice, who would often bring him pieces of cheese, so they could have very civilized tea and cheese afternoons. The summer was best, as he could sit outside with his friends late in the evening by the small stream at the bottom of Gerald's garden. He looked at the stars twinkling in the sky. Small fireflies flitted over the water, casting pinpoints of light, and the waxy candles flickered, casting cat and mouse shadows across the meadow beyond. One night, when Gerald was looking at the night sky and enjoying a tasty piece of gorgonzola, he asked the mice if they had any more cheese snacks, as he was still feeling a bit peckish. "No," said Henry the head mouse. "Oh," said Gerald. The mice looked at each other, and Henry said, "We've run out of cheese tonight." Gerald said, "Where has all the cheese gone?" Henry the head mouse pointed at the sky. "Can't you see?" Gerald looked at the sky. It was very dark that night, but Gerald could see all the stars twinkling in the sky as normal. But there was something different. "Where is the moon?" he said. Henry the head mouse looked sad and said, "It's gone, so we can't get any more cheese." "Why ever not?" said Gerald. "Everyone knows that you get cheese from the moon, but the moon has run away, so we can't get any more," said Henry the head mouse. "Oh goodness, what are we to do?" said Gerald. Just then the wind gathered strength and began blowing waves on the stream. The clouds hid the twinkling stars, and the leaves began to rustle in the trees. A storm was coming. Gerald picked up the picnic basket and gathered up the blanket. The mice ran to the safety of their mouse holes, and Gerald bolted the door of his small house in the woods. The wind blew and the rain poured down, making an awful din on the roof of Gerald's house. Gerald was glad that he was safe and dry inside, but he did wonder where the moon had gone. He was very fond of cheese after all. It would be a dreadful thing if there was no more cheese because the moon had run away. Suddenly there was a banging on the door. "I wonder who that could be on a night like this," thought Gerald. He looked out of the window, and in the shadows he could see a strange figure, dressed in a black cloak and a big hood with twinkling lights, and, oddly, a very strange glow coming from the hood. "Can you let me in? I've got stuck in the storm and I can't get home, and I'm very cold," said the dark figure. "Of course," said Gerald, for he was a very kind cat. "Come and sit by the fire and get warm and dry." He opened the door, and bits of twig and leaves all blew in, along with the strange, dark and damp figure. "Thank you, you are very kind," said the dark figure. She sat by the fireside and gently steamed as the rain that soaked her cloak began to dry. "Would you like some tea and biscuits?" said Gerald. "Yes, please," said the dark figure. Gerald hurried away and put the kettle on to make a nice pot of tea for his unexpected visitor. I would offer you some cheese, but the moon has run away and the mice can't get any more." "Oh dear," said the dark figure, still steaming. "Perhaps the moon has run out of cheese-making ingredients and had to go to find some more." Yes, that could be the reason," said Gerald. "I hope the moon comes back soon." "Do you mind if I have another pot of tea? This one has run out," said the dark figure, who had stopped steaming by now. The wind was dying down by now as the kettle whistled on Gerald's stove. He poured the hot water onto the tea in his special pot and took it through to the parlour. But where was the dark figure? All that was left was a puddle on the floor and what looked like small twinkly lights. How very odd, thought Gerald as he looked out of the window. He thought that he glimpsed a dark shadow rising from the hillside opposite his house. The next evening, the mice knocked on Gerald's door. The weather was much better now, and the storm had long passed through the woods. The mice were very excited. "Gerald, come quick and look," they said in their very squeaky voices. Gerald stepped outside, and the mice pointed at the sky, which was not quite so dark now. "Look, the moon has come back, and look over here." They ran over to the stream, and on the bank was a large plate with the biggest piece of cheese that Gerald had ever seen right in the middle of it. "Goodness me, where did that come from?" said Gerald. "There's a note," said Henry the Head Mouse. "It just says, 'Thanks for the tea.'" Gerald looked up at the moon and he was sure that he saw it smile. Good night.